that was it. I showed it to a few people. A guy called Ed Waff, who's very prolific playwright in the Northeast, and he said, I think it needs to be bulked out. I think you need more characters. So now Vicky, the girl, has her best friend Ange, and if you're looking for a baddie, someone is there a baddie in this. Well, closest you'll get is Addie's agent Mike, football agent.
We're not stereotyping here,
not stereotyping at all. So yeah, and then it just grew over the years, and then when Ray kindly agreed to produce it. The next stage is you find a cast, and then the cast sit down, read through the script, what they call research and development week, and
hey, you guys.
They'll say maybe, well, I don't think I would say that. Would I not say this? Would I not do this? The director, who is a woman called Olivia Miller-Ross from Glasgow, she gave her ideas and said, how about changing things around? So, yeah, it's taken a lot of time to get it where it is, but I'm really pleased with it. Yeah, it's developed in the football angle was because if you write in anything, the advice is write about what you know. So that's why the football angle came in.
So why did you write about football?
Thank you. And I think it developed over the last few years as well with because my the main male lead is a black footballer. The things that they've had to put up with over the years, especially in terms of social media and things like that, made me think a bit deeper about his character. And actually, Benno came in very kindly and spoke to the cast and told them what it was like when he arrived on Wearside for the first time in 1984. Only the club's second ever black player, and the first one, Rolly Gregoire, only lasted about half a season. Benno's been here nearly 40 years now, and it was great. It was invaluable, really. It was really kind of him to come in and share his experiences.
Who will be more nervous on the night than you?
I think you look a bit like that Maria Sharapova, the tennis player.
Ray Spencer, who's going to be most on edge?
It'll be me, I think. Because when you put yourself out there and it's your work in their hands. The thing about the actors is that, they're all professionals. They've got a couple of weeks rehearsals, so and they can cope with that sort of thing. It's me sitting there thinking, what is this like? It looked good when it was on the page. And you hope people come along and you hope people enjoy it. And it's a bit of a step into the unknown. The Cornered, I knew people would be interested because it was based on a true story. This one is all in my imagination. So I'm putting myself out there a bit more.
Well, if you want to see Jeff's play out there, September the 20th to 23rd, the Customs House in South Shields. Tickets on sale now. They
certainly are, and I'll be there every night. There's a couple of matinees, Thursday and Saturday. I'll be working on the Thursday one, but I'll certainly be there every evening performance. So if you do get along, come and say hello.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Thanks, Jeff. So this afternoon, Barr comes in for Roberts. No Jefferson Bennett, back spasm. A minor knock has kept Lyndon Gooch out of today's game, expected to return to training next week. Let's hear from the Sunderland head coach, Tony Mowbray. I caught up with him on Thursday lunchtime.
Tony, realistically on the striker front, if you do get a couple in the next few days next week, is it seemingly it'll be after the international break before you actually get them into the first team playing?
Oh, listen, it totally depends on when they come through the door, where they've been, where they're coming from, how much training they've done, how much game time they've had. Have they had an opportunity to train for a full week with the team or one day? And then the international break will be upon us, and we've got enough training days in that period planned to hopefully integrate the new signings into the group.
And you've touched on the underbelly of the team and perhaps Patrick's absence now.
Yeah.
I mean, how far away are you in terms of being happy as a coach that you've got? You almost hinted that you probably haven't got the underbelly that you'd really like to have.
Yeah, listen, only because I think some of the players that we sign are very, very inexperienced, and they need experience. And so my job is to give them game time in the first team, front of 40,000 people, live with the atmosphere, hear the groans every time you try something it doesn't work, deal with it, run back, tackle, have a shot, listen to that enormous noise when you please them. They have to feel that, I think. It's, I had one young lad said he could not believe he'd never been to a football match. This is a young player, I won't tell you who it is, but he'd never been to a football match. He couldn't believe that behind that goal at Preston was all our fans. They travelled all that way, all of them thousands of people to watch our team, because that where he's come from, that just doesn't happen. But and I said, you better get used to it, mate. This is it, and this is the pressure of playing for this football club. People spend a lot of money and a lot of time, and they invest in everything to do with the club, and we have to try and win. And that's the dilemma for me sometimes when I'm trying to give them game time. For the people stood behind or sitting behind that goal, they want to see their team win. Not, oh, well, it was good today, we got beat 2-1, but so-and-so got 20 minutes. That's good for him, he'll get better because of that. But that's the balance, and I don't mind it. No. I hope other people understand it. And the club's hopefully, to coin a phrase, on its way back to the place where it wants to be and when it wants to play in the Premier League at some stage over the next period of history. And when they're there, as it shows, when you look every time I turn the telly on, somebody's spending 30 million on this one, or 40 million on that one, or 70 million on this one. Even today in the Championship, somebody spent 4.5 million on a player. It's when we get there, I hope that, for the fans really, that we become competitive in what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to do.
Is that something you've got to be conscious of this season? Because last season, as much it was a roller coaster in some ways, it was a consistent season. You didn't lose many games on the bounce. You had young players coming in who were playing without fear. I think by the nature of the division this year, it's going to be tougher in that respect. You've had a fairly tough start as well, but you've got 17, 18, 19-year-olds. You've got to look at whether they'll buckle under that pressure, whether they can respond to the pressure. I mean, Job, for instance, 17, turning 18 next month, he could have gone one or two ways after Preston. It could have been a very different game for him at the weekend. But I mean, he responded very well to making, what was a big mistake.
Listen, they're all going to find out about themselves, I would suggest. This is a football club that history might show, and I would say that you gentlemen will know better than me. History will show the teams that have been successful and the teams that have not been successful, and their ability to deal with the environment that they have to play in when it's going well or it's not going well. And you need to be a big personality to play at this football club, in my opinion. I've managed Glasgow Celtic that gets 60,000 every week. If you turn up as a timid little boy, and it ain't going well, you aren't going to be playing, you aren't going to want to be on that pitch. And so I genuinely feel that football clubs like this, the first criteria should always be personality, belief in your ability, confidence. And that's what I try to give these lads, because if they're not confident, they're a bit timid, and we're always passing backwards and we're always playing safe, somewhere along the line the fans aren't going to accept it. And if the fans are booing rather than cheering, or being supportive in the defeats rather than letting them know what they think, it's a tough place to play. I've been a footballer for 20 years as well, and a coach for 20 years, and I think I've been in them environments when it's not going well and you're not winning. The people who pay their hard-earned money and have taken the afternoon to travel 3 hours to watch this performance, that's what football is. And so you have to have personality to play for Sunderland, in my opinion. And so when I say personality, that means to play forward passes, to be brave on the ball, and that fits in with the mottos that they use of creative and bold and industrious. It's and I can see that, and my job is to try and give the players the tools to try and do the job in the environment that they work in.
Speculation again. You touched on Alex Pritchard last week, and you didn't think he would be here at the end of the window. Danny Bart, it's being said that he's very close to a move to Blackburn, and some speculation about Lyndon Gooch going to Queen's Park Rangers. Is there any substance in and those 3 leaving in the next week, really?
I honestly don't know. I talk to them boys every day. They're really good lads. They're all different personalities, but they've all got personality. And as I've said to you, my thought is always for their families and for them, really. What's right for you? You know, you can feel the environment, you can feel the water temperature here. You got to do what's right for yourself and your family. You're a footballer, you know, you're going to be finished while you're 35, 36. So some of them lads you've just mentioned have got 4 or 5 years left, maybe, in their careers. And make the right decision for you and your family, really. Because they're not out of contract, they're not out of the door next week. They've got a contract at this club, but they have to do what they feel is right for them, and I'm sure they will, because they are men. They're not boys. You're not talking about boys here. You're talking about experienced footballers, and they will do, as they tell me, they will do what they think is right for their children and their wives and their careers over the next week or so.
And finally, for me, the Coventry game. I mean, I think the beginning of the season, looking at this month and these fixtures, this was probably arguably the one that stood out as being the toughest of the 4 games. Mark Robins consistently seems to take the club further every year, despite everything that's thrown at him behind the scenes.
Yeah, and their home game, obviously, they're trying to think what they did. They got beat off. They've had a win, a draw, and a loss, haven't they? They won emphatically against Middlesbrough, even though Middlesbrough, as they do, they recruitment, you know, they had last year's recruitment was amazing with their loan players. As an example of what I said earlier, really, their loan players all went back, so there's no Ryan Giles whipping balls in on the left wing, and there's no Akpom arriving in the box late and burying the chances. It's so. You know, they went to Coventry, played pretty well on what I've watched of the game, and yet lost 3-0. Coventry are very good on when the ball turns over in midfield and attacking from central areas very quickly, and they can score a goal. So, yeah, I think we have to be mindful of the team we're playing, but I think they'll also be very mindful of the talents we've got and the way we play. And on any given day, I think it's a tight game as far as I can see. And you know, my hope is that we win the tight game this year, as opposed to the one last year where we had a lot of possession away from home. I do remember the officials decided that day they weren't going to give any fouls that day, and so anything went on the pitch, didn't it? So let's see how it goes. I think it was a fine margin game, but there's lots of good fine margin games this year, and we're just going to go and play them all and try and see if we can win them. And some we will and some we won't.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Well, it's a glorious afternoon at the moment, bright sunshine, but there is a threat of heavy showers as we've experienced on the way in. I know there's some sort of revenge from Mike Ashley to make us walk around the whole stadium to get into the media entrance when it's pouring with rain, but there you go. Referee Keith Stroud in yellow leading the teams out. This afternoon, he most memorably recently sent off Luke O'Nien, of course. Had he only known that Luke O'Nien is the saviour of dogs, he may not have sent him off against Swansea earlier in the season, last season.
You know what's going to go alongside that now, don't you?
No, go on.
Can he be the saviour of black cats?
Very good, very good. And it's very apt, that. It's very apt, because it was a black pointer, not a Labrador, that Luke O'Nien saved. A black pointer called Elmo. So, well, amazing. I mean, is there no end to what this man can do?
That's it.
So
Luke O'Nien.
Indeed. He's probably better known for what he does off the pitch than on it. The players lining up, shaking hands. Coventry in their sky blue, Sunderland in their, well, their red tracksuit tops, and underneath those they'll have their red and white stripes, black shorts, red socks. Good afternoon to David Bray. He's not been so well lately, so I hope you're feeling a lot better, David. And hopefully today's result will perk you up as well. As the aforesaid Luke O'Nien strips off his training top out in the sunshine down below us, and Anthony Patterson likewise, he'll be in yellow this afternoon. Patterson in goal, Hume, Ballard, O'Nien and Sirkin. Neil, Equa, Barr, Dak, Clark and Bellingham. The bench is Bishop, Driantis, Sealt, Bart, Huggins, Rigg, Pritchard, Embleton and Hamir. We won't be seeing Embleton or Sealt in the game. They're here really just to acclimatise them, integrate them back into the squad for when they do come back from their respective injuries. Chris Rigg's concussion protocol ended last night, so technically play today. We may see him later. Coventry City then, Ben Wilson in goal, formerly at Sunderland of course, last season's Golden Glove winner in the Football League. He also was in the Championship team of the season. 20 clean sheets in 43 starts for Ben Wilson last season. Back three, Bobby Thomas, Carl McFadden, older brother of Callum, and Joel Latibediere, Jamaican international. Midfield, Milan Van Eywyk, Josh Eccles, Ben Sheaf and Jay De Silva. The former Bristol City, Swansea, Charlton, Chelsea midfielder Casey Palmer comes in behind Ellis Sims, who replaces record signing Haji Wright, and alongside Sims is the experienced Matt Godden. He scored 3 in 3.
Yeah, he's a striker who puts himself about, but it'll be interesting to see the battle between Luke O'Nien and Ellis Sims, and I would imagine that Luke O'Nien will try to let Ellis Sims know that he's in a game.
Indeed, Sims has been coming off the bench for Coventry this season. £3.5 million initially, his price from Everton, but that could rise to £8 million. 17 appearances, 17 goals for Sunderland, Ellis Sims, and the Coventry players in a huddle.
I think that one of the players which they've got to make sure to look out for is the lad Casey Palmer. He's the one who'll pick the ball up and he'll drive at that Sunderland defence. He picks up in good positions.
Oh, it'd be a massive lift if we win.
So he comes in for one of the signings this summer, and that was the Japanese Tatsuhiro Sakamoto. He's on the bench this afternoon as Coventry City about to get the game underway. They do so now, attacking the goal to our right, behind which we have the 3,000 Sunderland fans this afternoon.
What minutes are you guys?
It's Arsenal 0, Fulham 1 after just a minute this afternoon. So ball comes to the back here and cleared by McFadden up through the middle, and you mentioned him already. Jay De Silva just behind Casey Palmer. Palmer there in the centre with his dreadlocks, big, strong midfielder. Quick free kick for Sunderland. Out to the left-hand side here, laid off by Sirkin to Clark, and Clark trying to dribble in and then plays it to Neil at the back of the box, the back of the D. Perhaps he should have shot first time. His second shot with his left foot was blocked, and Palmer trying to bring the ball away down the right wing, out for a throw to Sunderland.
Yeah, I thought Dan Neil would have got his shot away on his right foot, but he's tried to check back and put it onto his left.
So Man United 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Ekwab back to Ballard, back inside to Patterson, across to
Luke
O'Nien, yeah, and Hume out to his right-hand side. 2 minutes that goal for Forest. The ball played down the right wing for Bellingham to give chase, but cutting across his face, Carl McFadden, and it goes out for a throw, a goal kick. Went out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Bellingham's position. He's playing virtually as a out-and-out striker, where he usually plays, obviously, maybe in a 10 role or midfield where he can make them runs into the box.
Played out from the back, out to Van Eywyk, the Dutch right back, or right wing back this afternoon, with 3 at the back for Coventry. And then Ben Sheaf, he just rolls it along the back of the Coventry penalty area, and McFadden again out to this right-hand side. Bobby Thomas back into McFadden, and McFadden just pushing it through the centre, just behind the centre circle, and it's laid off out wide to this right-hand side. Thomas trying to get past Jack Clark, battle between the two. Clark appealing to the referee that he was fouled. So does Tony Mowbray to the fourth official. They get nothing from the officials, and it's played back to Joel Latibaudiere,
will win that 3 or 4.
Jamaican international, and forwards to the edge of, well, Man United 0, Forest 2 now, and now a goal kick for Sunderland, much to the disbelief, I think, of some of the Coventry players. So now, goal kick in the shadow cast by the roof of that stand away to our right-hand side. 0-0 here. And Patterson, again, they're playing out, and then he plays it longer, actually, up towards Neil on the halfway line. Brings it down well, under pressure from Josh Eccles, it may have been. It's out to Clark on the left-hand side, looking for Bellingham, but a slip slightly by McFadden.
Cleared. Connected. Searching. Framed.
Gets in front of him and plays it back to Anthony Patterson. The edge of his area, plays it out to Hume. Hume to O'Nien, who passes it back to Hume in the middle, and he's pushing on and fouled by Ellis Sims. 4 minutes played, 0-0. Live on BBC Radio Newcastle.
I think you've just seen what Coventry will try to do. Try to get a 1v1 situation with Ellis Sims and maybe Luke O'Nien, because Luke O'Nien's playing on the right-hand side today.
So Patterson clears down the left wing. He found the header. He slipped again, Clark. He's going to have to have a look at his footwear, because it's 2 or 3 times Clark slipped over in the opening 5 minutes. As Dak plays it inside from the touchline. Bellingham just left of the centre circle, and he just swings it to Hume on the right-hand side inside the Coventry half, and then out wide on the far side, Barr, who's the replacement for Roberts this afternoon. Inside to Dak. Dak down the left wing to Clark. Clark now, the overlap coming from Sirkin. Tries just to clip the ball to the far post for Bellingham. Headed out to Dak, trying to get it on his right. Shoots wide. Tried to bring it down. It bobbled away from him slightly, and he's put it well wide, actually, for a goal kick to Coventry City. Ben Wilson, all in black, short sleeves, having a word with Van Ewijk as he jogs back out here, the Dutchman.
Good build-up by Sunderland.
Yeah. Short again, the ball played to Latibaudiere, out to the left to De Silva, signed from Bristol City this summer. Casey Palmer just rolled away from him. He's battling with Ekwa. As they're like twins, actually, those two in the middle. As away comes Eccles, looks for Sims at the corner of the penalty area, but strong challenge from Ballard. Sims quickly to his feet, manages to hold off Ballard to win a throw for Coventry. Down this right-hand side in the 6th minute. Into the 7th minute, 0-0. Thomas back to McFadden on the halfway line, across to Latibaudiere. Latibaudiere now finds a gap to play it down to De Silva on the left-hand side of the penalty area, trying to come in past Hume, and Hume sticking with him at the moment. De Silva has to pass it back out on that far side to Sheaf, back again, eventually to McFadden at the front of the centre circle, and then it's back to 1-0 to Forest at Man United as the ball swept in, headed to the edge of the penalty area, and Van Ewijk wins a corner, swung over, just took a deflection off Ballard behind for a corner to Coventry.
Yeah, it was a poor head out, really. The cross come in, and I think it's Ballard. He's just glanced it, headed it down.
Ipswich 1, Leeds 0. Ipswich the leaders at the moment, of course. Start of the season. Palmer goes down to take this first corner of the game then on the left-hand side for Coventry City.
Could Ipswich be the dark horses?
Birmingham 1, Plymouth 0. He drives this in, it's headed behind by Bellingham at the near post. It's another corner.
Phenomenal, that is.
Yeah, they've got to make sure they pick up here. McFadden is a He's a big lad.
Yeah,
He'll
they've
try to
got
go and
Sims
attack
in there
him.
as well.
You know,
They've
you've got Ellie Sims, got
Thomas at the far post.
Yeah.
The original ball bounces back down on the pitch. Casey Palmer then from the left again for Coventry, drives us in, quite a vicious ball in, headed in the air by Bellingham. Out to the edge of the area, Barr trying to get on the end of it. It's not fully cleared. Sims trying to tee up McFadden into a sea of red and white, and out here on the left-hand side to Jack Clark. He's tackled though, and then he pushes McFadden in the back. And what's Keith Stroud going to do here? It's a free kick without question, but I'm just wondering if he's going to start throwing yellow cards around, but he's had a word. He's bringing the spray out.
It's a dangerous position where Clark's lost the ball.
Casey Palmer's going to take the free kick again. Ninth minute now, 0-0.
And you've got to say the two corners he's taken, he's whipped the ball in with pace.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm on. But
this from the right-hand side of midfield then. Sunderland lined up at the edge of we're right down the other end actually. I'm assuming, but from where we're sitting, they look like they're on the 18-yard line. Two over the free kick. I think De Silva's one of them. Could be in with his. No, it's Palmer who whips this in. Drops though to the feet of Bellingham, who leaves it now for Clark to bring out. And Clark trying to find the run of Barr down this left wing. He's run onto it. He needs support in the middle. They're coming eventually, but Barr is tackled by Josh Eccles. He gets it up to Palmer. He runs into Ekwa, and the referee gives a free kick.
He's going to get a yellow card.
A yellow card for Ekwa.
That's all come from. It's a great pass by Jack Clark out to Barr, and again, you know, we lose the ball far too easily.
God, we're good at getting yellow cards early on.
Free kick just inside well, it's on the halfway line. That's where the ball's been put down, but the referee's told Thomas to put the ball back.
God, Darren Bent's like cacking the field. He's everywhere. He's on Sky Sports.
And now out to Thomas on this right-hand side. Clips one up, looking for Sims onto the chest of Ballard. He miskicks his clearance. He's won it back though, and now gets it through to Neil. Neil pushes it on, trying to get through here. He still could get through at the edge of the area, but he's blocked in the end by Latibaudiere. But it falls to Clark. Clark trying to work through the blue shirts that have got back here. Lays it off, and Hume's shot goes wide. And behind.
Yeah, Dan Neil's unlucky there. He's gone past two, just an extra half a yard. Maybe he would have gone away and it'd been 1v1 with the goalkeeper.
Ipswich 1, Leeds 1. Mike Dodson's baseball cap comes out. And
it was crystal clear up until 2 minutes. Very strange.
The ball played out to Van Joik on this right-hand side. And
it is, but it's frustrating. I mean, what happens is the TV networks just send the pulse out to block the channels, because that's what happens. Everything's working fine, and
0-0 here.
That's just the network
in Coventry.
Throwing out the force field to block a hole, and it comes back.
And now with Thomas, plays it back to McFadden, plays it out to the right, and it's put out by Clark for a throw to Coventry City. Next up for them, a home game against Watford. Knocked out of the League Cup by AFC Wimbledon. McFadden swings the ball across the pitch to De Silva in the sunshine on the far side. Inside then to Ben Sheaf, former Arsenal player. Now with Bobby Thomas, signed from Burnley this summer. Spent most of his Burnley career though out on loan, latterly at the first half of this year at Barnsley. Here's Thomas again, swinging it forwards towards Sims, but headed away by Ballard. Rotherham 0, Leicester 1. Then a foul on Sirkin by Eccles. Or was it Godden? It was Godden who fouled him. And the free kick. Taken back to Patterson. Passed out to Luke O'Nien. And then back to O'Nien. Ballard. It's out for a throw. And then a foul. They appealed the Coventry players when Josh Eccles went down, and so now
forget 39 on the channel effect and click the thumbs up and give us a subscribe.
Free kick taken by Thomas, back to McFadden. Gets it back again from the halfway line, out
Ipswich
to
1, Leeds
Thomas, a
United
block
2.
by Dack, then the ball just knocked out. It's a throw to Coventry, comes back to McFadden, plays it across to Latibaudiere, out wide again to De Silva, back again to Latibaudiere. And he was under pressure from Barr, pushes it out through the middle to Eccles, looking for Godden, who's caught by O'Nien. There's history here, it's a yellow card.
Yeah,
An inevitable result of that block by O'Nien on Godden. He was away.
The worry for me, Nick, is that we're giving away too many silly
stupid free kicks.
You know, we've just picked up 2 yellow cards there. Equa, 09.
So, just inside the Sunderland half, left side of midfield, it's Equa who's taking this, and he gets the not Equa, Palmer who takes it, gets it back, and is headed. Well, free kick. Godden, I think, got on the end of it. Was trying to head it goalwards. It was blocked. It came out, but he was looking for a foul. But the referee saw a foul on a Sunderland player.
But again, Casey Palmer is involved again. It was his through ball into De Silva.
So
Sunderland's teams are terrible, aren't they?
And it's back with Patterson to take the free kick. 0-0. We're in the 15th minute. Ball roll to Ballard. Ballard back across to O'Nien. Godden's trying to put pressure on him. Out to Hume. Palmer likewise trying to close Hume down. Gets the ball up towards halfway, but it's
I can understand why
won back by Ben Sheaf. Inside now to Eccles. He now quickly gets the ball on to Casey Palmer, to De Silva down the left, almost on the goal line. Pulled back by De Silva to Palmer, in to Eccles. His shot blocked by Dack for a throw on the far side.
Yeah, and you know he's pulling all the strings, Palmer. Everything's going through Palmer.
So Ipswich 1, Leeds 2.
Man U's going to
so here's Man United 1, Nottingham Forest 2. What a game at Old Trafford by the sounds of things. And here's Casey Palmer, Pierre Equa's twin. Back to McFadden, across here now to Thomas, out wide to the Dutchman Van Uijk, and back here to Thomas. Thomas into the centre circle, Latibaudiere, forwards to Palmer, just left of central, and now he's looking for Godden, who tried to volley, straight at Patterson.
And again, they've got to get hold of Palmer.
You were right before the game started. You said he would drive things, he would orchestrate things for Coventry, and that's just what he's doing.
That's what he's doing. We've got to get tighter to him.
It's rolled out by Patterson, Sirkin, and now Norwich 2 up at Huddersfield. Clark skips one challenge from Thomas. The Uijk's trying to close him down. Clark still got it, gets it back to Equa. Dack slips right over as he passes it to him, Equa. And now on the halfway line, Ballard comes through with it. Leaves it for Neil on the right-hand side, out to Barr.
Lift the ban on the 3 o'clock.
Inside to Dack. It's floated up towards Barr. He stretches, but Ben Wilson catches it. Stood his ground, Wilson. Barr stretching. And
good run by Bellingham.
Yeah. And Wilson just rolls the ball to Thomas, back to Wilson. Again, passing it back to Thomas, out wide to Uijk. Van Uijk, it's a block by Clark. Throw for Coventry City on this right-hand side. The Dutchman grabs it. 0-0, 18th minute. Back to Thomas. 22 years old, 6'1". Floats it up looking for Godden. Ballard gets it away. Sims trying to get on the end of it, but it comes back to Hume. Hume back to Patterson. Patterson at the edge of the area, strolling out with it. Sims goes to close him down. He passes it right down the wing to Barr. Inside to Hume. Hume, little flick through to Neil, but to spam past him. It wasn't a good pass. Picked up by Eccles. Back here to McFadden and back to Wilson, wide on the right of his penalty area. And he drives this down the right wing, but it'll float out, I think, for an awkward bounce. It went out in the end for Sirkin to grab. Takes the throw, finds Equa. Harrogate 1, Morecambe 0. Flick back by their ankle of Clark, but one back by Coventry on the touchline. Inside to McFadden. He's looking for the run of De Silva, and it's over Hume's head and caught by Patterson. The far side of his penalty area, right of his penalty area. Rolls it out to Equa. 19th minute, 0-0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle as Neil on another break here. Lovely ball through, but Wilson's going to beat Clark to it. Neil's furious with himself, just a little bit too heavy, the pass. And Wilson rolls it out to Eccles, Coventry-born midfielder. Thomas here at the back to Eccles, back to Thomas, inside to McFadden. And McFadden looking for De Silva on the far side. De Silva brings it down on the halfway line, almost on the touchline, then drills it into the middle to Godden, but he's passed it straight to Hume. Hume forwards to Neil, back to Equa, across here to Sirkin. And Sirkin, well, he didn't look up. He thought Clark was going to be somewhere, he wasn't. And Coventry have it back again, down the right wing here now with Van Uwijk, and he's in the penalty area. Ipswich 1, Leeds 3. Here's the Dutchman again down the right of the penalty area, looking for Sheaf, told to shoot, but he finds Godden and a block. Good block by Sirkin. Rolls along the goal line, cleared by Equa, back up towards the halfway line, and then out on this right-hand side to Van Uwijk again, inside to Eccles, looking for the run of Godden. Across comes Sirkin, they collide. The ball goes behind for a goal.
Badly. They certainly do. I don't know how
21st minute, almost halfway through the first half. 0-0.
It's going to happen on deadline day.
Neither keeper's actually had a save to make. As Ballard poised to take the goal kick from the corner of the 6-yard box, slips it to Patterson. Palmer goes to close him down, plays it back to Patterson, plays it back to Ballard, out to Sirkin down the left, then Palmer catches Equa, yellow card for Palmer. Went in heavily, and Palmer...
He can't complain about that.
No, not after the previous two. So we've played 21 minutes,
yes,
and we've got 3 bookings already.
Every single week, every single match,
so
uninterrupted commentary on here.
0-0.
So if anybody new, just click the subscribe button and the thumbs up.
Ballard will take the free kick.
But yeah,
Bart warming up down below us with Hamir and Pritchard.
Cheers for tuning in anyway.
And Ballard passes the ball back to Patterson at the front of the D, and he's played it out to O'Nien. He just lays it off to Barr. Barr back inside to Hume.
I know,
Hume,
Robert, it's not easy,
to Equa, wide again to Barr on halfway.
Well,
behind him O'Nien. Sims trying to apply some pressure. Inside to Hume. Out wide again to Luke O'Nien. Plays it back to Hume. And Hume is walking forwards with it, and then plays it back to Patterson out in midfield. Anthony Patterson taps it back to Trey Hume, and then Dak now back to Hume. Sims goes to apply pressure, close him down. Patterson gets it back to Hume, out to Barr and Dak on this right-hand side, with Equa just inside him, and brings it down the right for Barr, back to Neil to Dak again on the wing on the right, forwards and back again to Neil from O'Nien. Out to Dack wide, inside again to Neil. Neil looks up, edge of the penalty area, slips as he tries to get the ball through to Barr. He's done that, he's got it back Barr to Dack. Dack trying to find the gap, and Dan Neil, and he finds Barr back into Dack, and Dack behind him to Hume, forwards to Neil. Back to Hume, forwards to Neil again. The ball in the box spins up off the boot of Thomas, away from Clark, and away goes Van Uijk and steps inside, gets the ball into Palmer on the halfway line, and then out wide again on this right wing, and Palmer gets it back, tries to slip it through to Eccles, out to Van Uijk on the right hand side, and back eventually to Palmer, and it's Gateshead 1, Woking 0. Marcus Dinanga has scored for Gateshead. 0-0 here at Coventry, and the ball up to Sims. Sims holding off Ballard, gets the ball to De Silva, slips past Hume, crosses, the ball headed high in the air by O'Nien on the shoulder of Gordon, then on the shoulder of Sims. He gets the ball away again. Tony Mowbray standing with his hands on his head on the touchline, but they've got the ball away only as far as De Silva. And De Silva trying to work his way in again, tried to find Palmer, but cut out by Equa. And it's West Brom 1, Middlesbrough 0. And a good ball played down by Bellingham to Barr. And Barr now trying to get the ball in to Job, but it's swept past him, just a little bit too far ahead of him, through the 6-yard box, and out for a throw on this near side as we look down from the stand here at this end of the ground.
And then you look at it, was that a good ball in? Maybe if you had a striker.
Possibly. Here's Sirkin on the left, halfway inside the Coventry half to Job. Job now, it's blocked, and it's going to be the Dutchman Van Uijk who gets the ball eventually to Eccles, back to Latibaudiere. Latibaudiere now looking for the run up to Silva. Is he? No, he's gone through the middle. Ben Sheaf out on the left then to Jay De Silva, just in the Sunderland half.
Yeah, Burrow really struggling.
Back to De Silva from Latibaudiere. De Silva taking this on, down the left to Sims. Sims back to Latibaudiere, squares it to Thomas inside the Sunderland half. 25th minute, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Van Uijk trying to get in past Clark, comes back to Thomas. Dack in front of him, down the touchline again to the Dutchman, back to Thomas, and Thomas, he's played it into the edge of the penalty area, and Sirkin clears into touch just down from Tony Mowbray in the Coventry half on the right hand side, and the throw taken by Carl McFadden to Joel Latibaudiere, began his career with Manchester City. The sign from Swansea though this summer, 3 years there. Here he is again, 2 caps for Jamaica, finds Thomas on the halfway line on the right. The applause for the Coventry substitutes warming up just down below us. And now down the wing, looking for Van Uijk. It's won back by Sunderland, and then intervention, the ball doesn't quite go out, and Thomas gets it back here to McFadden. Forwards to Eccles. Eccles looking for Sims, back inside, looking for Casey Palmer, rolls it through for Godden, but into the hands of Patterson, who got there ahead of Matt Godden. It was a good move by Coventry. Fluent, quick. Just lacking the finish.
And you're just looking at the two teams at the present moment, Nick, and you just think that Coventry seems more of a threat than Sunderland.
Here's Sims battling with O'Nien again. It drops for Casey Palmer.
Offside.
And Godden's offside, Free kick. Hume pauses a moment and just taps the ball back.
We're just waiting for him to
Ballard, who takes the free kick. Through to Hume again, back to Ballard in the middle. Out to Equa, up to the halfway line, and Job, he's turning, he's trying to shake off Sheaf, but Eccles just pokes the ball away from him. Eccles in the centre circle, looking for help. Comes off the foot of the referee, so the whistle's blown. Drop ball. The referee drops it to the feet of Eccles in the centre circle. Behind him, Latibeaudiere plays it to Thomas, squares it onto the right-hand side now.
That's gone out.
Just gone out for a throw to Sunderland. Halfway inside the Sunderland half.
Mary
Mark
Casey,
Robbins,
great to hear this available
in his
on
black
your channel
tracksuit,
each match.
strolls out, applauds. Dak knocks it down to Sirkin. Sirkin back to Patterson. 28th minute, 0-0. Here's De Silva, gets it ahead of Hume. De Silva inside to Sheaf. Sheaf shoots, and now Godden right in front of Patterson. Stabbed at it, but stabbed it straight at Patterson.
Yeah, we're just causing ourselves. It was a poor kick out from Patterson. We're just causing ourselves our own problems, Nick.
So a couple of times then in the last couple of minutes, Gordon's got on the end of something, but never really got his foot through it.
Dak's on, yes, Mackham. Dak is
0-0 still. Barr chases the ball back towards the edge of the Coventry penalty area, but McFadden beaten him to it. Plays it back to Latibeaudiere, out to McFadden, back then to Latibeaudiere, who plays it through his penalty area to Thomas, pushes it out to Eccles. Oh, it's blocked by Clark, but it spins off him, comes back to Ben Wilson.
52 on the channel, which is superb.
And it's still 0-0 in the
just click the little thumbs up.
29th minute. West Bromwich Albion 2, Middlesbrough 0. Here the Sunderland fans away to our right. McFadden at the back. Eccles back to McFadden. And forwards into the centre circle. And no foul by Equa on Eccles, and Neil has it now. Neil looking for the run of Barr into the penalty area on the right, shoots across the face of Ben Wilson. He let it go, it's gone behind for a goal kick.
And again, Nick, you know, you look at that. Thanks, was it a cross? Was it a shot? Was he trying to pick somebody outside? You'll want him to be a little bit more, shall we say, positive.
Hey, somebody know how
it's 0-0 though in the 30th minute, half an hour played.
Just about. Online if you can see it, mate.
Southampton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Thomas out to Van Uyck on this right wing, blocked by Clark. It spins the ricochet towards Jobe, who pokes it away from Palmer, who's caught Jobe. Free kick quickly taken from the wrong place, so Keith Stroud, who looks fairly small compared to everyone else on the pitch, the 54-year-old.
What are you trying to say?
Not a lot, nothing. I'm not making any sizist assumptions. But Equa just having a word with Dak. Dak calling Clark in towards him. And so Clark and Dak. Barr is called across now as well by Dak. And he swings the ball in the penalty area, and a little flick down behind. Didn't even touch the defender's head, Thomas. As it turns out, it's a goal kick. West Bromwich Albion 2, Middlesbrough 1. Elliot Embleton and Jensen Sealt just having a little jog down the touchline in front of us. Good to see the pair of them, especially Embleton. Here's Eccles trying to get away down the right and nudging the back from Clark. No, says the referee. And then Sirkin does the same, and again, no foul. Clark trying to get away here down the left-hand side, chased by the Dutch right-back, who managed to slide in and get the ball. And then it's given away by Coventry. Equa to Jobe at the back of the centre circle. Jobe looking to get it out wide to Barr. Barr on the right wing, Hume on the overlap. Barr back inside here now to Dan Neil, and Neil trying to get away from Palmer and Sheaf. And the ball goes out for a throw after a bit of hesitation, awarded to Coventry. And the ball is thrown down by Hume, but no action taken. Southampton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. De Silva with this throw for Coventry City in their sky blue. The fronts of their shirts actually sky blue and white stripes. Up to the halfway line. Palmer didn't do much about it. Comes off his head and comes off Equa for a throw to Coventry. 33rd minute, 0-0. Here's Palmer again, strong, holds off Sunderland gets the ball back to Thomas out wide, and then to Van Uyck on this right-hand side, being chased by Clark. Clark trying to stick with him. The Dutchman plays it back to Thomas. Thomas inside in the middle now to Sheaf. Sheaf tapped it away again to Eccles, just outside the penalty area. Behind him is Thomas, and Thomas now a short pass again out from Eccles to Van Uyck, and he gets the corner off of Jack Clark as he tried to swing it in. Coventry's third corner. Preston 0, Swansea 1. Eccles jogging down to take the corner. Palmer's going with him, and Palmer down there with him, but Eccles is going to take it.
Out. There's two out there.
Yeah, we have problems with them now and
so
again.
From the right, this corner, the previous two were from the left. It hangs in the air, headed in the air. Patterson's on the floor. O'Nien heads it away.
Nowhere near
along
it.
the goal line, and McFadden's going to let it run out for a throw.
He was nowhere near it, Patterson.
No. So a throw which Van Uyck is going across to take on the far side. Has to go and get recover a ball. And he grabs this and is jogging round to take the throw on the far side. I think it's going to be a long one. Here he comes, hurls it into the 6-yard box. There's a bit of a melee, and in the end it comes down and hooked away by Hume. Out on the far side for another throw to Coventry. De Silva's going to take it this time, is he, or is he going to leave it again for Van Uyck? It could be another long one.
What's your guys'
and
thoughts?
He's halfway inside the
then?
Sunderland half, and it looks as though he's going to try and get this throw into the Sunderland penalty area. Here he comes, it's a big throw.
It's a long throw.
Again, it's O'Nien this time who manages to head it away, drops down on the left-hand side of the penalty area for Van Uyck, who gets it back here now to Latibaudiere, lays it off to Eccles in the middle of the Sunderland half, back to the Jamaican, through the middle then to Sheaf or McFadden, and then forwards to Palmer on the left side of central midfield, trying to get the ball through to Sims. Swept past Sims, outstretched right foot, and Patterson was there to pick the ball up for Sunderland. 0-0. We played 35 minutes. Live on BBC Radio Newcastle, and away comes Hume over the halfway line. On the right, he's got Neal to his right-hand side, Barr wide. Neal passes it to Barr. Barr cutting back inside, clips the ball in, looking for Dack. Headed away by McFadden. It's going to be brought out by Eccles, right through the middle to Godden in the centre circle. Little back heel to Casey Palmer. Palmer down this right-hand side, Sirkin going with him. Palmer slips it through his legs, Sirkin brings him down. Free kick just outside the penalty area on the right of midfield. Sirkin does his best to walk away from the incident in the hope that Keith Stroud will forget about the possibility of a card.
But again, it's Palmer who's causing the problems, Nick.
Yeah. 36 minutes. A free kick then, which De Silva and Palmer stand over at the moment.
Yeah, you've got to stay strong here.
The referee applies the spray just inside the Sunderland penalty area. Dack joins Barr as the defensive wall. The rest of them are lined up 12 yards out from Anthony Patterson, standing in the middle of his goal. De Silva or Palmer? Palmer can certainly whip them in.
Oh, he'll whip it in.
But it is going to be Palmer. Curls this towards the far post. It's headed away. A chase for Ekwa on the far side. Out almost on the touchline. He tries to play it down the line, but straight to Latibaudiere. Inside again to Palmer, looking for the return to Sheaf, but it's cleared for a throw to Coventry, quickly taken by Palmer. Back towards the halfway line. McFadden plays it to Thomas as the fans on the far side play with a ball that was launched into the stand. Comes back to McFadden on halfway. He drills it away to the left, looking for De Silva in the corner. Nice layoff to Palmer.
He's there,
he plays it back to De Silva. His cross in the box, headed out by O'Nien. Calls for Sheaf to shoot again. He's still got it. Threads it through here. Palmer, but Patterson gets out to it first. Palmer goes down over his outstretched hands.
He wasn't going to get.
Was never going to get anything for that. Never going to get there, and never going to get a penalty.
Yeah, and what Sunderland have got to do now, they've got to dig deep, Nick. You know, see the game out to half time.
38th minute.
Yeah, so Tony Mowbray can have a few words just to settle him down, because you've got to say that Coventry are the better team at the present moment. They're asking the questions.
Gordon's just put the ball behind for a goal kick to Sunderland. Ballard plonks it down, passes it to Patterson, and Patterson playing it out here. Oh, straight past O'Nien, out for a throw. It's a lack of concentration.
Well, that's it, you know, and we're talking about the passing. It's been poor in the first 45 minutes. The amount of times we're giving the ball away.
Here's Thomas just inside the Sunderland half, back into the centre circle to McFadden, back out to Thomas on the right. Closed down by Dack, turns, plays it back on halfway to McFadden. Job looking to intercept, but they've got it out to Sheaf now in the Sunderland half, looking for the run of Gordon on his chest, trying to get it onto his left and tee it up, but Ballard's put him off and got it to Ekwa. And now out on this left wing to Clark, flicks it through, Job trying to get there, but Latibaudiere beats him to it, then Dack wins the ball. Inside to Neil on the centre spot, wide to Barr to come past De Silva if he can, to the corner of the penalty area, down the right of the box, just inside it, taps it back to Neil, who clips the ball in, looking for Dack. Thomas clears, up towards Ekwa, who heads it back to the edge of the area. Thomas heads it out again, Ekwa trying to win it, leaves it for Hume, and Hume then to Neil again. Neil down the right of central midfield, out to Barr on the right, Barr back to Hume. On the right of midfield, just ahead of him is Ekwa, through to Neil on the right, and Neil lays it off to Barr. Barr back inside to Ekwa, forwards again to Neil. He's got Eccles on his shoulder, he holds him off, and he's tripped up by Eccles in the end. Does he? No, the assistant just flags for the throw to Sunderland on the far side. Millwall 1, Stoke 0. 0-0 here at the CBS Arena. Throw taken by Hume to Barr down the right. Back to Hume, drills the ball low into the box, it's cleared by McFadden. Another throw to Sunderland on the far side, halfway inside the Coventry half. Back to Ekwa, and then back again to O'Nien, just inside his own half, 5 minutes to play. And Ballard out to Sirkin on these, taken by Casey Palmer off his toes, and now he's played to Sheaf, back to Palmer, lays it off again to Sheaf, looking for Godden, edge of the area, trying to push it back into Sheaf. Sheaf though, Dack on his shoulder. Sheaf finds Sims in the penalty box, and Sims leaves it for De Silva, who's crossed it, and it should run away for Sirkin on this left-hand side. He's tripped by Van
That should be
Uijk.
a yellow card.
The referee's just given the free kick. No further action. 41st minute, 0-0. BBC Radio Newcastle. And Ballard's going to take the free kick.
This is when you got to play with your heads now.
Tony Mowbray's 50th match in charge. It was a year ago today that Alex Neil left for Stoke City. Here's Hume bringing it up towards halfway, inside to Neil. Neil back across to Ballard. Ballard out to Sirkin on the left-hand side, and he plays it back to Dan Ballard. Ballard just holding it for a moment, then to Hume. Hume from the back of the centre circle back to Ballard, and out to Sirkin on the left, back again to Ballard. Hume in the middle, finding Neil on the halfway line. Neil to his left to Sirkin, back to Neil, into Hume in the centre circle, and he just plays it square left to Ekwa. Ekwa at the edge of the centre circle, out to Clark on this left-hand side. Clark just rolls it back to Ekwa. Ekwa, short pass inside to the right to Hume back to Eckwer, now behind him O'Nien on halfway, forwards to Hume, back to O'Nien, and O'Nien down the right wing to Barr, back to Hume, through the middle, Eckwer, and the ball stolen off him by Sheaf to McFadden just behind him, and the Latibaudiere, and a throw to Sunderland as it rolls off the Jamaican out on the far side. It's turned cloudy again to approach half-time. Just a few minutes. Dack down the line again to Barr, inside to Hume, back to Bradley Dack, inside to Hume, lurking's Palmer, but he's got it to Eckwer, and now forwards to Eckwer, sails high over and away into the stand away to our left for a goal kick.
Yeah. Thanks for the subscriber there.
And need we say what they're missing? You know, we get up around that 18-yard box and it's just a case of what do we do next? What can we do?
Yeah. Here's Thomas down the right to Van Uyck, inside to Eccles. He's in the middle of three Sunderland players, gets it back to McFadden through the middle to Sheaf, looking for Palmer. Palmer looking for Sims. O'Nien went to cut it out. Sims runs onto it. Great save by the feet of Patterson in a roll out for a throw on the far side. A minute from half time.
And again, who created it? Palmer.
Yeah.
Sky Blue Army, welcome on the chat.
Get to half time, Sunderland. That's what we need to do.
This is going to be another long throw on the far side from Milan Van Uyck. He's not the tallest in the world. He's 5'10", but he's got a prodigious throw.
He's got a good throw.
Incredible throw.
A long way.
So he's going to hurl another one into the penalty area here in this last minute, the 45th minute. And here he comes. Again, here it comes deep into the box.
Good
headed
header.
Away firmly by Ballard, but back it comes to the edge of the area, and Job this time. De Silva's run onto it. De Silva shoots, it's over the bar. Goal kick for Sunderland. Scott Simpson, the fourth official, is about to show us how much time will be added on. I don't think there'll be a huge amount, which will probably be... I think Tony Mowbray will be grateful for that. As you say, he will just want to get them in.
About 3 minutes.
Happy birthday, dear Macca. Happy birthday to you.
I think there's as many as 3. There's not been many stoppages as such, have there? A few free kicks, but here we are, 1 minute. We're into that minute now. The goal kick from Patterson is deep this time, or he tries to get it deep. Headed away from Joe by Thomas. Neil wins it in the middle and gets it out to Barr on the right, who's running into the box on the right. He lays it back off to Neil, whose shot is blocked, comes out to Clark. Palmer just shoulders him off the ball. Eckwer does likewise to win it back, but then he loses it, and then Coventry lose it. They give it to Hume. Hume lifting it down the left, looking for Job, but Thomas puts his right foot through it. Out it comes for a throw on this left-hand side for Sunderland. Sirkin comes down to take it. They'll make it 10 seconds of the minute left. Here's Clark, curls one in here. Wilson comes out, catches it cleanly, and that might be pretty much it. That's the minute played, and the ball back with the De Silva as the half-time whistle's blown.
I'm happy with
by
that.
Referee Keith Stroud.
I'm happy with that. 0-0
Teams go in level 0-0. And as you were saying just a few minutes ago, Coventry really have been the better team in the first 45.
Yeah, they've been the better team. They look more of a threat going forward. It's taken a good save by Patterson from Ellis Sims near the end there. But again, it just seems as though when we get around that 18-yard box, you know, especially when you haven't got a striker, it's very, very difficult. You know, a couple of times you've got Barr on the right-hand side where he's picked the ball. That's where you miss Roberts. A little bit of magic, a little bit of, sadly to say, can he create creativity on that right-hand side? You know, he's played, shall we say, hopeful balls into the box, but there's nobody there to get on the end. But he's asking a little bit too much off the likes of Bellingham. Dack's playing a little bit deep, but you know, the other one is Casey Palmer. We've got to get a little bit tighter and know where Casey Palmer is, because he's, you know, 2 and 3 occasions he's got on the ball and it's his through balls
T, you have anything? Off you go. Can be hit and miss, like you certainly can. No, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm just listening. I'm just listening to you guys. Well, we're not showing any threat at all, though. I mean, it's all right saying like defend, 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 defend. switch 5 back 2-3. Hope we get some shots on second half. Yeah, absolutely.
He's that half a yard too much when he's put on the pass, but the look of threat. And what we've got to do, we've got to make sure we start the second half well, because if we don't start the second half well and they get an early goal in that second half, then you can see them going on winning 2 or 3. You know, we need a lot more going forward, but we haven't got it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the same 11 for Coventry. Just a minute.
It's his ankle.
Did he roll it? Did he?
I think it's when he's landed.
Was there any contact with anybody else?
He's gone for a challenge with Bellingham.
And then he's gone down.
He's gone down, yeah. Just the way he's landed.
So stoppage immediately at the start of this second half. He's sitting up now, getting some treatment, and players milling about, just got themselves warmed up, got themselves back in to action, and they're stopped for this injury to Kyle McFadden. Tony Mowbray just having a word with Barr, who's been quite demonstrative, waving his arms around a lot, but I don't know how much English Barr speaks these days, but Job now in conversation with Tony Mowbray.
I would imagine he knows a couple of words. I won't tell you what words they are.
Well, Tony Mowbray, he was talking about he's up on his feet now, McFadden. Tony Mowbray was talking about the languages. He said, oh, we've got a few lads that speak French, but the problem, he says, Jefferson Bennett has been left a little bit out in the cold because there's no Spanish speakers. He says Eliza Mienda does speak a little bit of Spanish, but French has become his predominant language because he's lived so long in France, even though he is Spanish. Anyway, we're back underway. Ballard to Dak, wide on the left, on halfway. Tony Mowbray stands with his arms high in the air at the moment on the touchline, and it's forwards to Sirkin, who lays it off to Clark on the far side. Clark dribbling at Godden into the penalty area, squares it, but it's blocked and cleared by Coventry for a throw to Sunderland, who haven't got a Van Uwijk who can throw it long from the touchline into the penalty area. And back to Ekwa on the left, the wide left, down the line again now to Sirkin. He's trying to drive into the penalty area, finds Dak, who lays it off to Clark at the corner of the box. He's trying to cross, it's blocked by Eccles, and Sunderland win their first corner.
Good play.
Comes in the second half.
See if we can score from a set piece, Nick.
Well, that'd be good.
Yeah.
It'd be good to get the noses in front here now. Clark's going to leave it, or is he going to... Yeah, Dak is coming across. Clark's still over there as well. Dak, I think, is going to take the corner from the left, away to our right, below the big image of Jimmy Hill draped across the seats. It's played back out to Barr, and in the middle, Dan Neil, and Wilson has to go down to save it, and then make another save from the feet of Sirkin, and eventually Sims knocks it out. Double save from Wilson, still 0-0, and Hume has it, and he plays it back to O'Nien, coming in the 50th minute.
Good strike by Dan Neil.
Yeah, it was a good strike. So forwards here, trying to get the ball to Joe, poked out to Barr, and eventually back to the halfway line, and picked up by Dak. Inside to Ekwa, wide to Clark. Clark has Sirkin at the edge of the area. Neil's there as well. He's got to the corner, but he's tackled by Eccles, and it's a throw to Sunderland on the far side.
Good double save by Wilson. Good strike by Dan Neil.
There's Clark wide, blocked, but he's come through with the ball. An advantage played by the referee. Dak's little back heel. Clark trying to drill this in. It's up off the foot of Van Dijk and onto the roof of the net for another corner. So
Good
some
play.
pressure being applied here at the moment by Sunderland.
Good play again by Jack Clark.
Dak again down to the left to take the corner kick. And Clark strolling across towards that far side. Barr is back there on the left as well. They line up behind the penalty spot. Dak curls this in. Up goes Ballard, gets his head on it, and then swinging it from Hume, comes out to Sirkin, or O'Nien, sorry, and he's driven it just over the bar. Little flurry then at the other end.
Yes, all coming through. Jack Clark, you know, he is a threat. You can get him the ball, get him further up the field, get him in 1v1 situations.
Shot by O'Nien now, mine.
Ben Wilson going to recover the ball. Van Dijk is just tying his bootlaces up. Latibaudiere. And it was played out from Wilson back to Wilson. Barr and Dak go to try and close down the keeper. And Norwich 3 up at Huddersfield, I think. Here's, Palmer's won it. Down the right wing for Coventry City, curls it towards Godden. Fell just behind him. Ballard manages to dig it out. Gets it out to Neil. And then down this right-hand side, where it's picked up instead of by Latibaudiere. Plays it back to Silva. Forwards here, Sheaf into Sims in the penalty area. Sims plays it back out to Latibaudiere, into Eccles, and back out to Latibaudiere. He's holding it for the moment in front of Neil, and then through eventually to De Silva. Pulled back here to Palmer, and he shoots wide. Curls away past the angle. Dak put him off. And a goal kick to Sunderland. And ball thrown down at Patterson. And Ballard at the corner of his penalty area just passes it back to Patterson's. Rolled it with his underneath his foot. Out. Sims goes to close him down. Patterson kicks. And up wide on halfway to Clark. Back to Sirkin, then inside to Ekwa. Casey Palmer's on his shoulder. Dak out wide, plays it back inside to Ekwa. Ekwa now up onto the halfway line, looking here for the runner. Barr wide on the right, keeps it in. Does he know the flag is up? Offside.
Always going to be the case, man.
Free kick to Coventry, taken quickly. The back of the area now. McFadden across to Bobby Thomas, back to McFadden, and brings it out and drives it over to the left-hand side here to Silva, looking for Palmer, but Ekwa gets in front of him, plays it back to Ballard, away from Sims, back to Patterson, lifts it high in the air up towards the halfway line, and Neil on the shoulder of Latibaudiere, but it drops for Sheaf, back to Thomas now to Eccles. He lays it off on the right to Van Dijk. He's coming up towards the penalty area on the right-hand side. Tries to get past Sirkin, doesn't. Has to come back. Leaves it eventually back to Thomas. And Thomas across here then to Latibaudiere. Latibaudiere out wide to De Silva on the left, the penalty area. Drives the ball in. Godden's header straight at Patterson. Caught it cleanly, it was straight at him. Rolls it out to Dan Neil. And Neil out wide on the left to Clark.
So I've got a Coventry fan on my channel saying
over the halfway line,
I've got this
taking on
easy.
Sheaf. Clark still going, and he's gone down. No foul. Just lost a little bit of balance behind Sheaf, and now Thomas trying to bring it out for Coventry. And is that a free kick or a throw? Free kick for a nudge by Clark on the centre half. It's Gateshead 1, Woking 1, I think.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah. Hard to hear in the cauldron of noise here.
Manchester United 2, Notts Forest 2.
Ah, thank you. Out to Eccles, up to the halfway line, looking for the runner Sims. Patterson will get there first at the edge of the area. Throws it out to Hume. Hume back to Patterson. Patterson Godden goes to close him down. High ball up towards Jobe, but drops back to Neil. Then Clark down the left to Dack. Dack, Jobe jogging into the penalty area. Back here now to Clark. Clark, he curls the ball in towards the far post, looking for Jobe, headed away though by Latibaudiere, and they're on the break here. Coventry on the right wing. Sims and Godden in the middle. It's played across here on the left towards Palmer. Palmer, he's just going to keep this in. Down below us, Hume on his shoulder, but Palmer just brushes him aside. Palmer still going, still going. Palmer's shot. Down goes Patterson to make the save. He's strong. It's a real threat.
Time will tell, Robert. Time will tell.
And again, there's that danger again, Palmer.
But it went through like a knife through butter, didn't he?
He did.
Swept in. Here's McFadden up to Sheaf on the halfway line through the middle.
Game's getting stretched.
Yeah, Godden out wide, then to Van Uwijk. He's going to take on Sirkin down the right here. Ball in, but over the top and behind for a goal kick. And goal kick to Sunderland in the 57th minute. 0-0. No sense of a change by either manager. Mark Robins is watching on from the edge of his technical area at the moment. Patterson passing it to Ballard to his left. Ballard hooking it out here, looking for Jobe, but it's going to be won by Latibaudiere, and he just taps it back.
Did Tim Robbins used to play for
Sheaf.
Norwich? Did Tim Robbins
swings it across, looking for De Silva, but Hume heads it away out to Barr. Barr breaking up towards the halfway line. Eccles puts a foot in, comes off Barr. Throw quickly taken by Coventry to Eccles, Josh Eccles to Ben Sheaf, across to Bobby Thomas, and Thomas back across the penalty area, front of it.
Who would you have on
McFadden
subs,
looking for
lads,
Eccles. Eccles to De Silva, holds off Neil, slips it inside to Eccles. Deflection takes it back to Hume, and now O'Nien. O'Nien across to Sirkin. Sirkin into the Coventry half. Now Dack, and Dack to Neil, and looking for the run here of Sirkin into the penalty area, but he's held off by Latibaudiere and Van Uwijk, and it's played out, and a poor pass. Sheaf knows it, shakes his head in despair, and O'Nien managed to head it back to Patterson, who gets it out quickly to Hume. Brings it up over the halfway line on the right-hand side.
It's quite open the game, isn't it?
It has opened up, hasn't it? And here's Neil. Out to Hume, back inside to Neil. Looking for Jobe. He's tackled, the ball will run back for Ben Wilson. Wilson leaves it for Latibaudiere. He squares it into the middle. McFadden passes it out to Sheaf. Sheaf playing it out wide to the right back Van Uwijk, the right wing back, trying to get it through to Godden, and one back by Sunderland. Through to Jobe, stretches with Eccles. Eccles wins it. Sheaf picks it up. Sheaf got to come past Ekwa, turns away from him, then turns back away from him to get forwards, then twists back again, gets it inside to Van Uwijk. He's down the right side of the penalty area. Sirkin slides in. Throw to Coventry. Hamir, Pritchard and Huggins warming up down below us. 0-0, we're in the 60th minute, half an hour to play. This can be another long throw from Milan Van Uwijk, the Dutchman, signed from Heerenveen in the summer. Not the biggest in the world, but he's got the biggest throw. Here it comes, hangs in the air, headed out by Ballard, straight to Palmer, who just chips it up looking for Sims. Sims and O'Nien battling with each other. It's come out wide here for Hume. Gets it down the line for Barr. Barr now. Possible break for Barr into the penalty area on the right-hand side. Tried to cross it. Crashes into Latibaudiere, and it runs behind for a corner to Sunderland. What an opportunity that could have been.
Yeah. Could he have done it earlier? Bellingham was there.
Swift counter-attack away. Barr got away.
That's what we're lacking, man. That's what we're lacking on the
put
break.
behind. Rotherham 1, Leicester 1. And Dak going down to take this third Sunderland corner.
Should have played that at least about half an hour before we passed that.
Tommy Smith's been sent off for Middlesbrough. So Dak from the right then, in front of the Sunderland fans, drives this in, headed in the air, hangs in the air, and cleared. It was Latibaudier who got under it. It's come to 09 in the centre circle. Neil floats one back up into the penalty area, but into the arms of Ben Wilson, who drives this up through the middle, but it's too hard. An acknowledgement from Van Uwijk that the idea was good, the execution wasn't. Patterson plays it out then to Hume in the middle. Hume up to Dak on halfway. Out wide then to Sirkin, taps it to Clark. Clark dribbling down the left, is going to try and take it inside here. On his right, will he try and shoot? No, he plays it across to Barr, corner of the penalty area on the right hand side. On his left, it's blocked though at the edge of the penalty area, and now out to Barr, wide on the touchline. Birmingham 1, Plymouth 1, I think.
Well done, Equa.
Equa's come back with this and plays it through to Dak in the centre circle. Equa trying to get on with it, but Sheaf got it back. Gets away from Dak, finds Sims on halfway. Sims holding off Jobe at the moment. Rolls it out to De Silva on the left here. De Silva, Hume in front of him, and Hume backing into the penalty area. Crossed by De Silva, headed out by O'Nien to Barr here. And Barr pushed in the back surely by Latibaudier. Free kick to Sunderland. Hume, I think, is going to leave it for O'Nien, just puts his foot through it, looking for the run of Clark, wide on the left here, and back there is Van Uwijk to pass it back to Wilson, who under pressure puts it into touch. So a throw to Sunderland on the left. Taken Neil, back to Dak, forwards to Neil, back out wide to Clark. Clark back to Sirkin, and Sirkin into the middle to Equa, in the middle of the Coventry half. 0-0 in the 63rd minute. Cross from the left wing, cut out by McFadden. Job's looking at the assistant when he went down in the challenge in the penalty area, but nothing. And Hume in the middle now to Equa, through
better second
to
half
the edge of the area.
Sunderland,
Dak
though.
stumbles but gets the ball to Dan Neil, and then to Clark on the left, inside to Dak. Dak in the penalty area, at the edge of it at least, nays it off. Then it's curled goalwards, but straight into the hands of Ben Wilson from Dan Neil. He bowls it out down the left to De Silva. He hooks it back to Latibaudier. Latibaudier bringing it up now on the left side of midfield, up towards the halfway line. Taps it back to McFadden. McFadden back again to Latibaudier. Closed down by Jobe, back to McFadden, back again to Latibaudier, and he brings it up to halfway.
Please.
Plays it into the Sunderland half to Sheaf, looking for Sims. Oh, he goes down. Now what's the referee going to do here? He's on the shoulder of Sirkin, who's on the floor at the moment, sitting down. Yellow card for Sirkin. Free kick to Coventry. Sims bursting through on that right-hand side.
Yeah, just playing on the shoulder, and that's what it gives him. That's the threat.
Sirkin, I think, had to make that challenge. Sims was through. Free kick, a yard or two out on the right. Keith Stroud just marching the Sunderland defence back 10 yards. One would assume Palmer fancies this one. Patterson's got the sun in his eyes as well.
Defend this, lads.
He's at the end with the sun directly in his face. Ben Wilson at the other end is in shade. So the line held on the 12-yard mark.
It's Palmer or De Silva.
Yeah, it looks like Palmer. Surely he's going to
whip this
smash this, won't he? Here he comes with his right. He drives it into the wall.
Well done.
Comes out to Ben Sheaf.
On its job.
Preston 1, Swansea 1. And here's Sheaf down the left. Clips one into the penalty area again, turned away by Joe, but it comes out to Latibaudiere, eventually down to Sheaf on the left wing, left of the penalty area, back to Palmer, who spins round off Dak, looking for Godden here, turns it back into the hands of Patterson at the post.
Tell you what, great pass by Palmer, reverse pass.
It's been the player of the match so far for me. It's been a real handful. So Ekwa and Dak out to Sirkin, down to Dan Neil.
That's nowhere near a penalty.
Back to Ballard, and back again to Patterson. Taps it to O'Nien. O'Nien trying to pass it through. Ekwa on the halfway line, takes this on into the Coventry half. Dak just ahead of him. Clark wide on the touchline. He's dribbling now at Eccles, who tries to make a tackle, but Clark goes round him. Clark plays it square to Dan Neil. Neil trying to dribble in. Oh, he goes down! Referee just stares, gives absolutely nothing. I think Neil had a case there. Looked to me like his ankle was clipped. McFadden's having a word in Dan Neil's ear as he walks away from the penalty area. Harrogate 2, Morecambe 0. Well, I'd like to see that one again. He was in the area, he looked as though he might have been contact, and down he went, but the referee was watching hard and gave nothing. It's now into Sirkin to pull back here,
unlucky.
But it's cleared before Dak could get his foot round it for a throw on the far side. Clark is going to take the throw, is he, or is he going to leave it for Sirkin to take? Sirkin jogging across, but Clark takes it. Back it goes to Ekwa. 0-0 still, 68th minute. And
the replay of that penalty thing
on halfway on the left, Ekwa down the left wing to Bradley Dak. Dak dribbling here and laying it off to Clark on the left. Oh, it bounces off him.
Goal kick.
And goes off for a goal kick. Arsenal 1, Fulham 1 in the Premier League. Ben Wilson then with the goal kick for Coventry City. To either side of him, the corners of the 6-yard box.
It's hard to judge by that.
It's become the fashion. And he's taken his time. The referee's having a word with Van Ewijk on the far side. I don't know what that's about. Southampton 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Change about to be made here by Coventry. They're bringing on Yasin Ayari, who's Swede on loan from Brighton. The referee's spoken to Van Ewijk. It's a double substitution because Haji Wright's going to come on as well. Well, Casey Palmer's coming off, and that's going to please everybody from a Sunderland perspective.
Well, Sunderland will be glad to see the back of him. I'm glad
Sims
to see the back
is the other
of
going
him.
off, but yeah, I think everybody will be glad to see the back of Casey Palmer.
Are we not getting
so the
that
record signing,
triple
Haji Wright comes on now.
Triple substitution for Sunderland.
And Pritchard is going to come on and Huggins is going to come on. So what do you see? And Hamir, it's going to be 3 actually. 3 changes imminent for Sunderland. It's 0-0. Play is underway again here. De Silva's on the break. Sunderland waiting to get their 3 substitutes on. And it's on the halfway line on the left. Sheaf back to Latibaudiere. Across on the far side.
I would imagine it'll be Dak.
Do you think it'll be Dak?
Yeah.
Gateshead 1, Woking 2, sorry. Dackenbar
and maybe Bellingham.
Possibly, yeah. So, on halfway, on the right-hand side, Coventry trying to get forwards through Van Uwijk. Comes back here to the halfway line, then swept forwards to De Silva. Takes it down well, but O'Nien whips across the face of him, smashes it into touch. The substitutions, are they going to be made now? It looks like... No, De Silva still... No, he's going to have to take this throw again, because the referee is indicating, I think, that he wants these substitutions made. Bit of discussion going on with Tony Mowbray, Hamir and the players on the touchline, but now they're going to be made. Bars coming off for Huggins. Just the first of them.
Someone just says, does De Silva work in a jewellery shop?
Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. So the second substitution will be Dak for Pritchard.
See, Onion doesn't just save dogs.
Job's come across some instructions from Tony Mowbray, and is it Ekwa?
Ekwa.
Who's going to be replaced by Hamir. So that's the 3 Sunderland changes in this second half, in the 71st minute. So Ayari and Wright on for Coventry, Pritchard, Huggins and Hamir on for Sunderland. A throw for Coventry, De Silva, back to Latibaudiere, and then back on the halfway line to McFadden. Hamir in front of him. McFadden gets it back again from Latibaudiere and across to Thomas on the far side.
Again.
Thomas trying to run it through to Haji Wright, the American in the penalty area, but it's won back by Sunderland. Ballard to O'Nien. O'Nien back to Patterson. Asnoy just let it slip away from his foot, and Haji Wright was waiting to pounce. And Patterson puts the ball out into touch on the far side. Haji Wright, record signing from Antalyaspor, £7.7 million, 1 goal he's scored so far. That was against Middlesbrough. Here's Ayari, the Swede on loan
tell you
from
what,
Brighton.
they're going on about that FIFA guy kissing the Spanish
to the halfway line. Thomas plays it across to Latibaudiere, 73rd minute. Sheaf on the left-hand side here. Hamir in front of him. Plays it back to Latibaudiere. He plays it through to Eccles, back to Sheaf, and looking for Wright here at the edge of the area. Rolling it, trying to roll it in for Van Uwijk on the far side, but cleared by Sunderland. Bounces away from Job. Eccles on his chest. Pritchard trying to get a ball, get the ball, but it's come forward to Ayari, and now Sheaf shoots. And Sheaf shoots wide.
Well, they won the Euros.
Yeah, Trey Humes got into midfield. Huggins is playing at a right back now.
25,714 the attendance this afternoon.
Every time a Spanish player got
shown
touched,
in
they went down.
Big bold black letters on the sky blue scoreboard, the top of the stand above the Sunderland fans, 3,000 of them in that 25,000. As up goes Latibaudiere to win it from Hamir, and then Sheaf lays it back off to McFadden, plays it back to Wilson, right edge of his penalty area, out to Thomas, and Job's giving chase. Thomas gets it back to Wilson, who from his goal line kicks up towards the halfway line, flicked on by Godden. There's one back though by Sirkin, who's trying to get down to Pritchard on the left, and out to Clark. Pritchard trying to run back onto it and flick it inside for Sirkin. It's put behind by McFadden on the goal line for another Sunderland corner. Brentford 1, Palace 1. Pritchard has the ball under his arm. Sirkin's just nursing his shins by the looks of things. Sitting, just getting himself back up on his feet.
Not at all. Not
It's
at
corner
all.
from the left for Sunderland. 0-0.
Still time for that yet, mind Dan, so don't hang your Labradors out yet.
Live on BBC Radio Newcastle tomorrow afternoon from 4:30 kick-off, Newcastle Liverpool. Here's Pritchard, curls this in, Ballard trying to get on the end of it. Coventry get it clear. O'Nien just in front of the centre circle and plays it out to Huggins on the right here. And Huggins, De Silva's in front of him. Huggins turns, plays it back to O'Nien. Godden's on his shoulder, rolls it back to Patterson, who spins the ball high and down into the Coventry half as a drone above the ground on the far side. Here's Huggins trying to win it from Eccles, who couldn't get his foot on it, and it's a throw to Sunderland on the right here in the 76th minute. And down to Jobe, back out to Huggins, inside again to Hume. A block though on the halfway line. It falls for Huggins, who plays it back to Ballard. Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 2. Got a game at Old Trafford today. And there's Clark on the left. Oh, he's swung it back. He could have swung it to right. It's come all the way back down here for O'Nien. Wright's given chase. O'Nien plays it back to Patterson. Gordon tries to close him down. He has to get it away. Patterson down the right wing. Latry Baudier wins the header, and it's out for a throw to Sunderland. Cardiff 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. O'Nien gets the ball back from one of the Coventry substitutes, Jake Bidwell. And O'Nien will take this throw down on the right, almost in the corner. Finds Hume, hooks it up towards Hamir. McFadden's got his foot round it. In the middle he finds Sheaf, who just lays it off to De Silva, who just couldn't control it, took his eye off, and it runs out for a throw, which Pritchard takes
for the subscriber
quickly.
there.
Huggins across to Neal in the centre, taking this on Dan Neal. He's got Clark wide. Serkin's making a run forwards. Clark's going still to the corner of the penalty area. Turns it on his right foot through, but cut out and brought out now by Coventry up to the halfway line, and it's flicked out by Godden to right, and right now into the penalty area. Tries to cross it, comes off O'Nien, back to the goalkeeper. Patterson grateful to get it, run out with it and roll it to Dan Neal, chased by Ayari, gets it through to Pritchard on the halfway line. He pushes it down the left wing to Hamir. Hamir inside the Coventry half, back to Pritchard. Pritchard just on the left, he's urging everybody forwards. He just taps it back behind him to Neal. Forwards to Pritchard again. He's urging players to run forwards, and nobody's making any effort to get forwards. Pritchard frustrated. He jogs up towards the edge of the penalty area. It's played inside to Hume, and Hume now plays it square to Clark. Clark back to Hume, and Hume coming back to the halfway line, back to Serkin. Preston 2, Swansea 1. Neal out wide to Clark, back to Dan Neal. Neal, he's trying to, well, he's having to play it back again to Hume on the left, wide on the left inside his own half, back to Patterson. 0-0 still, 79th minute. Luke O'Nien plays it back to Patterson. He plays it out now, looking for Serkin, takes it on his chest, it bounced awkwardly, and he's playing it through to Pritchard. Pritchard now on halfway, taking this on, being chased by Van Uijk. Oh, lovely little turn from Pritchard to get away. He gets the advantage from the referee, tried to roll it through for Hamir. It's intercepted though, and Coventry trying to get it away. With Wright now looking here on the right for Godden. Godden, Wright calling for it. He's played it across though to Ayari. He's played it through to Wright. He's onside. Wright, great save by Patterson. Wonderful save by Patterson. Wright was through, was trying to place his shot, but the save made, now a goal kick.
Great save by Patterson there.
So 0-0 it remains. And a goal kick. With just over 10 minutes left. Patterson in yellow, then in the sunshine. 2/3 of the pitch in shadow, and in the shadow is Hamir, but it's headed away from him by Thomas. Up to the halfway line, Eccles has got it now, as Coventry City come again here. Laid off by Godden, behind him to Ayari. Ayari now trying to find Godden in the penalty area. Deflection off the boot of Ballard over the bar. It's a corner to
Excellent
Coventry.
By Ballard.
Strolling down to take the corner kick is Eccles. And Eccles places the ball in the corner.
Love the name Lampshade.
Ayar is just behind him on this right side of the penalty area, and the referees, what's the referee seen? He's pulled out Thomas and Hamir by the looks of things.
It's got to be strong here.
Yeah. He's happy with the word, and Eccles then with the corner. Oh, what's the referee doing now? There's
Luke O'Nien, is it?
O'Nien and McFadden actually off the pitch behind the goal.
Be careful, be careful.
And there's a bit of pushing going. And McFadden's trying to.
You know what?
He's trying to wind O'Nien up.
Just be careful.
Oh, they're wrestling again. It's going to be so. No. Thomas has gone down here. Pushed down. The referee, Keith Stroud. He's having a word with McFadden. He's called him out now. He's the captain, and O'Nien's been called out. He's having a word with a pair of them.
Oh, weird, man. It's all handbags at the minute.
He's been spoken to.
Because he'll give it.
Well, now he's warned them both. They're both at the back post again.
Be careful, man. He'll be looking for it.
Eccles then with the corner, and he's played it short. And Ayari, and he's trying to get in the box. He lays it back off outside for Sheaf to put back inside the box. Ballard heads it away, and Latibaudiere pulled Ballard down. Ipswich 2, Leeds 4.
Ipswich 2, Leeds 4. Wow.
Ballard's sitting down at the moment, just drawing his breath. 82nd minute, but the time will be added on for all that. Coventry City 0, Sunderland 0. Ball tapped to O'Nien by Patterson.
He might just save a daddy long legs from his
O'Nien pushing it on to Hume. Huggins out wide, but he's played it down the wing. There's nobody there. Pritchard will give chase, but Latibaudiere will get this back to Ben Wilson. He passes it back out to the left again. Forwards to Sheaf, back to Latibaudiere.
Listening from Turkey, welcome indeed.
Back to Wilson,
Turkey.
Plays it out to Thomas. Back to Wilson, and plays it out again to the left to Latibaudiere. Coventry building again from the back on the left-hand side. And Latibaudiere goes back to McFadden. McFadden across on the right to Thomas, up to the halfway line. Godden trying to turn it out to Van Uyck, and it's won back by Sunderland, but nearly won back again by Ayari. Ballard has to come back and drive the ball back up into the Coventry half. Comes down for Eccles in front of Pritchard. Back to Latibaudiere. Forwards and out wide left here to Eccles. Eccles with.
So I'll enjoy my liver and onion pizza tonight if we get a point.
Plays it out to De Silva. Back to Eccles. Comes off the foot of Hume, back to Huggins, and now that's surely a push in the back of Hume. Free kick to Sunderland, right side of midfield in their own half. 6 minutes or so left. There'll be a few minutes added on. Goalless at the moment.
Try it. It's delicious.
Is there a goal in the game?
Take a point now, Nick.
Yeah. Patterson.
I'm a Coventry fan listening.
Looking for Hamir.
Hope you're well.
On the shoulder of Latibaudiere, who's managed to get in front of him, and the ball rolls out for a throw to Sunderland. Quickly taken by Huggins to Jobe, back to Huggins. Flag up for a foul on Jobe. Referee says play on. Hume trying to cut the cross in. It's cut out though by Latibaudiere. Comes back out to Jobe. Ayari trying to win it off him, but he played it almost into the path of Jobe. But Coventry have got it back again. Then Neil intercepts, but then McFadden manages to stab it away. Back it comes to Latibaudiere, lifts it up for Ayari inside, and he's going to try and look for the return ball, but Huggins has read it. Gets it back to O'Nien, then forwards down the right wing to Huggins, into the Coventry half. Swings the ball into the Coventry penalty. Jobe was there. McFadden taking no chances, heads it behind. To 5th Sunderland corner. Pritchard's going to take it down on the right-hand side.
It's nice and sunny in Turkey.
O'Nien stays back. Huggins jogging down to the right. Pritchard is going to curl this in, surely.
Full of iron, liver. Good for you. Leicester
BBC
are
Radio
2-1 up now. Thanks, Colin.
Many minutes left of the game. It's in from Pritchard. It's headed in the air by McFadden. It comes out and headed down by Neil. There's an appeal from the Sunderland players. Nothing from Keith Stroud. O'Nien back, turns the ball back.
Oh, Wolves have just scored against Everton. Ho, ho, ho.
Patterson urged just to calm things down by Hume.
86 minutes on the clock. Everton are in shit creek without a paddle.
And now Wright trying to win
language, that was rubbish.
But Ballard's got in front of him and he passes the ball down the left wing to Clark. Clark trying to get inside here and gets away from the lunge of Sheaf and plays it inside now to Pritchard. Pritchard to Neil. Neil looks up, drives a low ball in, but it's cleared out to the left by Coventry and behind for a corner. Rotherham 1, Leicester 2. Everton 0, Wolves 1. Pritchard then on the right with this corner kick in front of that bank of Sunderland fans.
Sean Dyche will be under pressure.
Will
3
they
defeats
roar,
on the trot.
or will they sigh when Pritchard puts this in? From the right, drives it in low to the near post. It's headed away. And Dan Neil trying to get on the end of it, makes a mistake. And they're going to try and lob the keeper over Patterson's head and away behind for a goal kick. Ayari it was.
If that was on target, it was a goal, Nick.
It was, because Patterson was on virtually up towards halfway. Ayari saw the gaping goal, tried to lob it. And now Wright's trying to put pressure on Patterson, who clears. 87th minute now. And it drops for Pritchard or Eccles, falls for Neil. Neil out to Clark on the left wing. Clark halfway inside the Coventry half, pedalling into the penalty area. He tries to cross it on. Amir gets a touch, but Wilson goes down, makes the save.
It's end-to-end stuff.
0-0 still.
Excellent play again by Jack Clark.
So played out again towards the
6
left.
That's it.
And then through the middle by Coventry. Halfway down the left wing to Wright. Wright taking on O'Nien. Haji Wright still with it on the left side of the penalty area, dribbling into the box. Right foot cross pass in to the penalty area, but it's cleared by Sunderland. Out for a throw on the right hand side, which Huggins will take. Huddersfield 0, Norwich 4. Emphatic win it'll be for Norwich. Here's Hume to Huggins. And De Silva gives chase. Huggins holds him off. Huggins plays it back to Ballard just outside the penalty area. 89th minute now. Up to Clark, inside to Neil. Neil back out to Clark on the left hand side. Clark trying to take this on through the middle. Rolls it to his right to Pritchard. Pritchard out to Huggins on the right hand side. Huggins now at the corner of the penalty area. De Silva in front of him, into the box. Huggins goes, flicks it back out to Pritchard. Pritchard curls the ball into the far post. Keeper. Caught by Ben Wilson. West Bromwich Albion 3, Middlesbrough 2.
West Brom 3, Middlesbrough 2.
Bowls it out on this right hand side now. Ayari plays it across to Latibaudiere, and now to De Silva on this left wing, inside to Sheaf. Sheaf just inside the Sunderland half. Eccles back to Latibaudiere. Hamir in front of him. Now McFadden plays it to Latibaudiere again. 89th minute. Forwards to Sheaf. Sheaf just back onto the halfway line. Eccles plays it back behind it to Latibaudiere. He plays it through to Wright. Haji Wright slips it through the legs of O'Nien. Down the left-hand side of the penalty area. Eccles here. Stabbed away, though, by Huggins. Out to Job. And Job now trying to find Pritchard. Could open up for Sunderland here. He's got Clark on the left-hand side. Clark wide on the left. Pritchard through the middle. Neil's making a burst into the penalty area. Clark through here to Pritchard. Trying to find Neil, but whipped away. Given away to Job. Job shoots and the interception takes it behind for a corner.
I wish Gary Bennett would stop going. It's like he's ahead of the
going for it at the death there, Sunderland. Pritchard's going down to take the corner kick. We're almost up to the 90th minute here. How much will be added on? Scott Simpson's ready to hold up the board. Pritchard's waiting to take the corner on the right hand side as we are seconds away from the 90, and Pritchard plays it short back to Huggins. Huggins now rolls it to Neil on the right, out to Pritchard. 5 minutes of added time. Neil turns the ball in straight to the hands of Wilson.
He tells Gary Bennett to stop going, we're on the attack. It's like Jacob being ahead on the stream. You know what's happened before what's happened.
Here's De Silva. De Silva plays it back behind into Latibaudiere. Then McFadden. And to his right, Thomas plays it back to Ben Wilson. Out to Latibaudiere. To McFadden. Out wide to Thomas. Thomas kicks long. It's going to drop over the shoulder of the assistant and eventually out for a throw to Sunderland on the far side. 1 minute nearly played of the minimum 5 being added on at the end of the game. 0-0 if you're just joining us on BBC Radio Newcastle. Here's Sirkin down the left. Clark inside to Pritchard. A block by Sheaf, comes back to Pritchard. Then McFadden trying to get it forwards, up to right, inside to Godden now in the penalty area. Across the face of him goes O'Nien and gets the ball away. It was Sheaf trying to get the ball through to him a bit originally. It's come down to Huggins. Huggins now inside the Coventry half in the 92nd minute. Huggins still going. Poached it out to Hamir on the right. He drives the ball and it's blocked. Comes out to Dan Neil. Dan Neil puts it on his right foot through to Hamir at the edge of the area, but easily tapped away by De Silva. De Silva now again trying to get the ball through to Eccles. Eccles away here up to right, just in the centre circle. O'Nien in front of me, taps the ball down the left wing here to Ayari. Out wide on the left-hand side, puts it back in the box for right, but cutting across the face of him was Neil, and that allows Sunderland to clear. 0-0. De Silva, the 93rd minute. Throw, gets the ball back to Silva, plays it back behind him to Latibaudiere. He plays it across in the middle to Eccles. Sheaf ahead of him and down the left, and out to De Silva again, back to Sheaf, trying to get round Hume. Hume gives chase, Sheaf still has it. Sheaf now plays it back to De Silva. De Silva down the left of the penalty area, curls in across. Godden beaten to it by Ballard. It drops for Sirkin, but then bounces here for Ayari. Taps it back inside, and Joe away. Ayari's down. Coventry fans wanted a foul. Clark's away on the left-hand side. He needs some support. Clark's still going. Clark's still going. Right foot block though by McFadden at the edge of the area. Comes back out to Neil, and Neil now to Hume. Hume has Ayari behind him. Goes down, free kick to Sunderland. Foul by the Swede. And this pretty central. Hume seems to have cramp, doesn't he? He's trying to stretch his legs. In the 94th minute now.
So if we score here, then Mackham's behind that goal, you'll see some
being
limbs
added
here,
on. This free kick.
Daft.
Pritchard.
They'll be singing, "Who let the dogs out?"
He's the one
Luke,
that. Well, he's
Luke.
Is he too far out? He's too far out. Neil's come across. Dan Neil, I think, is going to take this. Hume.
Oh my God!
Strolling away.
4-2 down.
Still not entirely happy, I don't think. Hume just bending over on hands on his knees. Dan Neil over the free kick. 0-0. He's going to play it to his left to Sirkin, down to Pritchard on the left, and Pritchard with his foot on the ball, and then with his right curls across in here. Wilson drops it, hooked in the air by De Silva, still in the air, headed forwards by Ballard, headed away by a limping McFadden, I think it is. Latibaudiere, they get it away on the left hand side. And Pritchard catches Eccles late, and Pritchard's going to be shown a yellow card.
Good one to take.
Yeah. Here comes the fourth yellow. West Bromwich Albion 4, Middlesbrough 2. We're in the last minute here, and it's looking very much like it's going to end 0-0. Latibaudiere out to De Silva on halfway on the left, taps it back again to McFadden. It'll be Ben Wilson's second clean sheet of the season. He'll be aiming to beat last season's record. Haji Wright trying to get on the end of one. It comes down though to Patterson. I make it 5 seconds of the 5 minutes left. Patterson bowls the ball out down the left wing to Sirkin. Sirkin takes this on down the left-hand side, leaves it for Clark.
Arsenal 2-2.
That's the 5 minutes played, and then I think that's the final whistle.
That's the final whistle. I'll take that.
Indeed, it ends goalless.
I will take that.
Sunderland still can't win in Coventry, but they'll take a point.
Yeah,
I think without question.
I think overall, Nick, you've got to say that's a good point. I think there was much improved in the second half, and I think Jack Clark was excellent for us. And you've got to say he was our threat, wasn't he? If we was going to score or get a goal, he was going to come through Jack Clark.
It's Gateshead 1, Woking 3. We'll get to round up shortly.
Thank you very much for tuning in.
Yeah, they held out. They made changes in the second half. They made the 3 changes. Pritchard, Huggins and Hemir.
Uninterrupted.
They were a threat at times. They forced some corners. Wilson a couple of times put under pressure. Patterson a couple of times under pressure. But I think overall, I think you'd have to say 0-0 is probably a fair result.
Fair result. Yeah, you've got to say, you think that Coventry in the first half would have just edged it as the better team, but credit to Sunderland, came out second half and had a goal through Jack Clark. And we've got to say, clean sheet, a lot of positive to come out of it, but we're desperate for a striker, Nick. Honestly, we are.
Well, I wonder where we'll get with Tony Mowbray on that front after the game this afternoon. I suspect I know the answer. So I'm not going to hold my breath.
Thank you very much.
Players are still shaking each other's hands now. And Sunderland fans, the majority of them still in the ground applauding the players as they turn to make their way now off the pitch and back to the dressing rooms. But an honourable, creditable draw, I think, for Sunderland this afternoon, in the light of the fact they've come away from home to a fixture at the start of the season we thought would probably be the hardest of the 4 so far. And they've kept a clean sheet, their first clean sheet of the season as well. Again, that's a positive to take from the game. Going into this next week when they've got to get a striker in. It's finished at the Coventry Building Society Arena. Coventry City 0, Sunderland 0.
Total Sport North East.
Call free 0800 23.
Yeah, well, thank you very much indeed, you guys. Good draw. Do you want to read some social medias, you guys? Yeah, would have taken a point before the game, absolutely. I'll take a point all day long. People not to start realising it's only 4 games. Well, that sounded dreadful on the radio. Someone said, I thought the second half was pretty exciting. Thrilling game. The majority, I'm going to cut a short story long. A lot of people are saying good point, which it is. Yeah. Cheers, Mackham. Thanks a lot, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers, Jonathan. So don't forget, we'll be back live for the next Sunderland match. See you later.